Many people plan for travel during pregnancy. But travel during pregnancy brings in their own concerns and anxieties. Is it safe to travel? How should I travel? Any precautions to take? So being pregnant does not mean that you have to be stuck up at home. Whether you're planning a business trip or taking a vacation, there are ways you can stay safe and healthy when traveling during pregnancy. So, is traveling safe in pregnancy? Yes, it is. If you have a healthy pregnancy, it is usually safe to travel, but always talk to your doctor before planning any trip. When is it not safe to travel during pregnancy? So, certain health conditions may not be safe or need special care during travel. So make sure that you talk to your doctor before you plan a travel. Number 1, if there is any history of previous miscarriages in the previous pregnancies, history of recent bleeding in this pregnancy, if your doctor has told you that you have a low-lying placenta, if you have history of premature labors in the previous pregnancies or a premature labor in this pregnancy, in case you have a history of leaking, which means that your water bag leaked sometime back in this pregnancy and now it has stopped. In case you have twin or multiple pregnancies. If you have a cervical stitch placed. So what's a cervical stitch? That's a stitch which we place at the mouth of the uterus, which is cervix, to prevent it from opening. Certain heart conditions, high blood pressure, history of preeclampsia, history of DVT, that's deep vein thrombosis, especially if you are planning a long travel. When is the best time to travel during pregnancy? So the best time to travel in pregnancy is second trimester. This is known as the golden period of pregnancy. At this time, your nausea and vomiting have almost disappeared. You're now pretty much settled, energetic, and while your belly is getting bigger, it is still comfortable for you to move around. During the second trimester, you are also less likely to have pregnancy emergencies like miscarriages, premature labor. What is the safest mode of travel? Flight, train, car, or ship? Actually, all of them. So now let's talk about each one of them in detail. So flying in pregnancy. Flying isn't harmful for you or your baby and in all trimesters, but obviously take a go ahead from your doctor before you travel. Don't worry, all the air cabins are properly pressurized, the scanners at the airport are safe, and there is no danger to the mother and the baby. The chance of going into the labor is naturally higher after 37 weeks and around 32 weeks in case you're carrying twins. So some airlines won't let you fly towards the end of your pregnancy. So check with the airline for the policy on this. Also, after week 28 of the pregnancy, most of the airlines ask for a letter from your doctor confirming your due date and also stating that you aren't at risk of any complications. So do arrange for that when you travel. Long distance travel, which is longer than 4 hours, carries a small risk of blood clots. That's known as DVT, deep vein thrombosis. So let's talk about it. What is DVT and why must I know about it? So DVT is a condition in which a blood clot forms in the veins, usually in the legs. DVT can lead to a dangerous condition called pulmonary embolism when the clot breaks from there and then travels to the lungs or maybe heart or maybe your brain. Now the research shows that any type of travel lasting more than 4 hours, whether it is by flight, car, train or bus, doubles the risk of DVT. Being pregnant is an extra risk factor for DVT because in pregnancy, the blood tends to clot faster. So, what are the tips which you should be taking during the flight? Number 1. Book an aisle seat so that you don't have to climb over other passengers when you need to get up to go to the restroom or maybe walk around. Take a seat towards the front of the plane where the ride feels little more smoother. Drink plenty of water. Do not drink carbonated drinks such as soda. Do not eat foods such as beans. They can cause gas. In fact, the gas in your belly can expand at high altitudes and make you feel uncomfortable. Make sure that you fasten your seat belt whenever it is announced. Now, this can help you, getting hurt in case of turbulences, and turbulences actually happen when the air around the flying plane causes a bumpy ride. Obviously, wear loose, comfortable clothing. Move regularly every 30 minutes. Make sure while you're sitting also that you are flexing your ankles like this. You're moving your ankles maybe like this, moving your toes like that. So make sure that there is movement in your legs and feet. Take a walk whenever it is safe to leave your seat. Now, all these things lower your risk of DVT, which is the blood clot inside the vein. In case you're feeling sick or uncomfortable, please do tell the flight attendant during the flight. It's also a good idea to buy a pair of graduated compression or support stockings from the pharmacy. Now coming to the car travel in pregnancy. Can I drive a car? Yes, very much. In case you're a good driver, you can definitely drive a car. Can I travel in a car? Yes, very much. If you're pregnant and traveling by car, follow these tips. Wear your seat belt even when you are in a co-driver's seat. Wear it with the cross strap between your breast and the lap strap across your pelvis under the bump, not across the bump. In case of long drives, try not to drive more than 5 or 6 hours per day. If you can, break your trip into several days. During long drives, drink enough water to keep yourself well hydrated, wear loose-fitting clothes, eat regular meals and take breaks to get out of the car to walk around and stretch. And ask your doctor in case you should wear support stockings. Doing all these things can lower your risk of DVT. Tilt your seat and move as far back as possible from the dashboard or from the steering wheel. If you are driving, make sure that you can reach the foot pedals. Remember, road accidents are among the most common causes of injury in the pregnant woman. So if you have to make a long trip, do not travel solo on your own. Make sure that you are traveling with someone. You can also do some exercises in the car in case you're not driving, like what I mentioned for the flight. You can flex, rotate your feet, wiggle your toes. Do not ever turn off your car airbags. Now, airbags can keep you and your baby always safe. So that's very, very important. Many times people ask me, can I travel to a hill station? So traveling by road in a hilly terrain is also absolutely all right, but can induce motion sickness, nausea and vomiting. So always carry your medicines along. Now coming to the train travel during pregnancy. Now, taking the train journey when pregnant is actually the safest mode when you're planning to travel for more than 3 hours. It is not risky, it is not bumpy, does not cause any motion sickness, does not increase the risk of miscarriage, premature delivery. So in fact, it's pretty much sitting like in your room. Now, few tips. Once again, opt for a seat on the aisle side so that you can get up and move around easily. To minimize the motion sickness, eat light meals and keep yourself well hydrated in the pregnancy. Now talking about sailing in pregnancy. Now, sailing in pregnancy, which is by ship or by a cruise, is by and large safe except for occasional sea or motion sickness. Just make sure that for longer boat trips or cruises, there should be on-board facilities to deal with the pregnancy, and the medical services at the docking airports, they should be there. And most cruise companies have their own restrictions and may refuse to carry heavily pregnant women more than 32 weeks. So check their policy before you book. So what are the red flag signs during travel? This is when you are supposed to immediately seek a medical care during your travel. So number one, in case you have pain in your abdomen, pain in the belly, or any kind of cramps or any kind of contractions, when you can actually feel the uterus getting tightened or relaxed. In case you have any vaginal bleeding, when the blood is coming out from the vagina. In case you notice any thin watery discharge coming from your vagina. In case you notice any kind of swelling in your leg or maybe a pain in your leg, severe headaches or any kind of vision problems. So these are the situations when you must seek the medical care at the earliest. So in today's jet-paced world, travel is part of our lifestyle. Pregnancy is not a contraindication to travel. With proper precautions and armed with knowledge and information, most of the women can travel safely well in the pregnancy. So wishing you safe journeys during pregnancy and later always. And like always, today if you found this information useful and interesting, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to Maitri. Please log on to maitriwoman.com for more information, and I will see you soon.